What's up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy. We're coming at you again. And as usual, I do have a couple slides that I want to share with you. And we're also going to proceed from where we left off in the last spiritualism video, right? So, we're going to circle back to this, all right? Let's get our dose of normalized racism and stuff, right? He says Sanchez or anyone being that word downtown Indy should not be a surprise. We have a ton of fatherless and armed African American kids descending on downtown Indy every weekend. If that offends you, F off, as Chief of Police Bailey and Rev Harrison have told you this. Okay, he even invokes the people who are with him, basically, right? So I'm not alarmed. I'm not a racist. This is just an opinion, right? Whilst I don't know how he came with this conclusion. I don't know. Maybe statistics. Right? This was 4 years ago. 4 days ago. How about that? They have the olive oil and everything. I know that is olive oil right there. I don't know why they have the Americans over there, but hey, they have to tell you who paid for it. So, picking up from spiritualism, where we left off. So in this video here, Dr. Luyaluka, right, sounds higher. He's a believer of the Bakongo religion, right? And basically, you can look at the video to hear his side of the story for yourself, right? But I want to emphasize specifically on the origins of the Buganda kingdom, right? The narrative, right? Or the lore that surrounds the origin of the tribe. So apparently, beings from the heavens, right, came, and this particular being was a woman and got married to the king at that time. And they were taught many things which gave them the ability to become what they became, right? A kingdom that persists even now, right? That is their unofficial official story, right? He talks about it in the video. Just pick that out, right? And he also points out that it's the same phenomenon even in Sumeria, even in Egypt, right? Now, Upper Nile being Upper Egypt, okay, I hope you get that, right? It's reversed. The north is south, south is north, right? In respect to the Nile, okay? So the Nile is flowing down to the north of Africa in the geographical sense, in the map that we're used to, right? Somebody pointed out, right? I needed to point it out also, right? I think the story sounds familiar, right? We have been talking about it over and over, right? Now let's pull some real examples from the scripture, right? And of course, Christ loved parables, right? Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. Okay? But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servant of the household came and said to him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hast the tares? Then hath it tares, right? That's some English right there for you. He said unto them, An enemy has done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye uproot also wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest I'll say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Okay? Now, for those who are trying to throw it out there that the supposed 30 or so years of Christ, okay, there's a theory out there that is going on like that. That and the other theory, which is also come up again, that Christ did not die, he was taken to France. Okay, it's just thing. Okay, why France? Well, I think I pointed out in the last video. Okay, that's why they are the first now, and everybody else will follow. Okay, I'm just saying. He wasn't into the cult, right? That might be fulfilled which was spoken by prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Okay? So he wasn't into the occult, no. Okay, what is this about, right? The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. Right? Are you being taught this in your Sunday school and stuff? The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels, right? Now you can understand why Hollywood in general has been putting a negative connotation towards the reaper, right? It's bad news for them, and they want you to share that same fear, right? As therefore the tares are gathered up and burned in fire, so shall it be in the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. Okay? So, like I said, if you have been around this channel for a while, the story is familiar. But the issue is this. People don't actually believe. Right? People don't actually believe that such a thing happened. And is happening again. That's why the flood was brought about in the first place. Because of this. Right? Creation was being consumed by the seed of the devil. Right? There is such a thing as the seed of the devil. Okay, and it's not and some might even try to misinterpret this, these children of the kingdom. What is that about, right? Well, it all comes down to this talk of crowns, right? Crowns, meaning you're a prince, meaning you inherit, right? That is your inheritance, right? Your crown, you can claim your inheritance, right? But if you don't have a crown, then you can claim nothing, really. Right? That's a whole other separate video within itself. Okay, but this is the reality. Right? You can go to the Sumerians, the same thing, the Anunnaki, right? In the Egyptian mythology, it's the same thing. And the Bukongo belief, it's also the same thing. They believe this. And the Buganda people believe this also. So this is our true past. This is our true past. We were the first, I don't know, brides of the devil, so to speak, of the Nephilim. Right? That's why the scripture says the devil, or rather the whore, will go back to our first man. Right? Did you catch that one right there? If you caught it, then you'll be enlightened. But if you don't know that line, then it's unfortunate. Right? So what will they do? They'll try to entice the first that led everybody astray, right, in this land here. So basically, this is what it is. This is what it is, right? And if you have ears, you're gonna hear. But if you don't have ears, then we have a problem. But again, the doctor here also had opinions about the origins of evil, right? And free will was thrown in there, right? I think I gave my opinions on free will, right? And he even phrased it better, right? He said God giving his creatures free will is an ultimate expression of his love, and I do believe that is true. But again, I think the perception of evil, or rather, I don't know, sin as we know it, the perception has been skewed to its origin, right? Let's look at the father, right? The father of these things, right? The father of lies, right? He told the first lie. Okay, that's why he's regarded as the father of lies, right? Also, the father of murder, right? That's why the rebuke of Christ, right? He told them, you're murderers like your father from the beginning. Who do you think he's talking about? The seed that was planted in Eve's womb by the devil in the Garden of Eden, right? Why were they chased from the garden? The garden was the inheritance, right? So they lost the inheritance, right? Cain could not inherit with, right, with Abel. The same goes down, right? The passage about the dogs and stuff, right? Those harsh statements, right? They are harsh statements because there is something very sinister in this world that most people are not really aware of, right? Okay? So in a, I don't know, in a simple manner, I could say the first sin was rebellion. Was rebellion. Still is, even today. Right? We see the subversion of reality. Right? Left becoming right, right becoming left, good becoming bad, bad becoming good. Right? Because they believe, right, which is a true thing. Even the doctor here on one of his personal videos, I think, expressed his opinion that they do believe indeed that engaging in the most heinous dark activity gives them access to even more powerful demons. Right? So how far do you think this goes? Right? What would be the ultimate, I don't know, the line which once crossed cannot be reversed? And I think that line is literally blinding yourself towards the light, right? Embracing darkness. Okay? This is why these people are involved in whatever they're involved in, right? Even the Africans in the past, right? The sacrificing their children to Moloch and all that. Yeah, it was some sick activity right there. But that's where it led, right? And of course, the Buganda, as per his analysis, were the first solar civilization, right? The first people to have a worship dedicated to the sun, right? It's the same thing everywhere, even in North America. No, South America for that matter. So, right? South America, right? All of them, sun discs and all of that, right? What do you think that's about? It's the worship of the sun, and they are engaged in the same activities, right? The darker the thing that you do, right? That's why they like doing stuff to children, with children, because again, right? Some might call it taboo, right? But again, these are rituals, right? They want access to the worst of the worst demons, right? And in order for such a demon to exist inside you, you have to have no light whatsoever, right? You have to have reached a level of perversion that you are wholly filled with darkness, right? How do they do it? That's the dark arts. It's none of my business, none of my concerns. But what I can say is DNA plays a huge role. Okay, so let's move on. So again, the prof here made another video, right? I don't even think I can make a video talking about this video, right? It's complete by itself, right? I can give you the highlights, right? Well, it is, in my opinion, is death by middlemen and lack of diversity. That is the summary of the video, right? Death by middlemen and lack of diversity, right? He even goes into examples of why the Ujamaa projects failed, right? Why? Because of lack of diversity, right? I've been emphasizing diversity even in the way that we farm, right? We cannot put all our eggs in one basket, right? That saying is important, right? So what the point of this is, this we can have priorities, right? But we can also have other priorities, right? So let's not put all of our eggs in one basket, right? Let's not depend only on tourism, or let's not depend only on agriculture. Let's not only depend on, right? We must have a wider base of, and that comes from diversity, right? In whatever sense that entails, right? I was watching the other video. Right, they were talking to the, I hope you have seen it, right? This Vivek somebody, right? This Indian guy who was running for a government position over there in the US, right? And he went to a turning point situation, and basically they gave him the piece of his mind, you know. Right, they gave him the piece of their mind, let's just say that, right? You can watch the video for your own son. And the commentator of the video at the end said the same people will then go back to their apartments or wherever they reside, pick up their phone and order Chinese or Indian food. Right? It's the extractive mentality, right? Even touched upon this, right? The connection between consumerism and entitlement, right? It's a good video, right? It's a good video, and I think he aired honest opinions about the middleman problem that we have, right? And it's prolific, especially in countries that are developing. It's prolific, a lot of middlemen, right? You want to start something, there's a lot of middlemen, a lot of hurdles that you have to get over, right? In a polite word, it's called bureaucracy, but again, it's middlemen. They are middlemen, right? Just think of it, right? Middlemen. Look at the price of oil. It's high, most because there is a middleman between the product and the consumer. They are middlemen. It's not even about manufacturing, no. Right? Manufacturing is the internal thing. They'll always keep costs down. But after that is where everything goes up, right? And again, as you say, partially policy and also greed of these middlemen, right? They protect each other, they pay each other well, and basically they steal together, you know? Just like what the Europeans are trying to do with Russian people's assets. But again, it's a good video, all right? This happened, right? I was waiting for everything to, I don't know, for the thing to hit the news, but crickets, right? Crickets, right? Crickets, literally. Some of you might be seeing this for the first time. Well, Air, Space, Cyber Conference. Wow, look at them, right? All right. You can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool the people all the time. And we are not without history. We are with history. And this is our history. Dark, yes. You know what that headband reminds me of? There's recently a statue that was unearthed in Turkey. They say it was, I don't know, 12,000 years old or something. You can look it up. It looks familiar if you put it side to side with the Omega. Look at that. They're ready to rebuild everything else, but not their own countries. That's how you know that your leaders are not protecting your interests whatsoever. Shared this before. Again, It's a familiar case, right? You remember the butterfly mines over there in Ukraine? Yeah. They said they were made intentionally to look cute. Right? Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of noise. People be worried about the noise and what happens after the noise. What happens in the quiet? This is the problem here. Right? What happens in the quiet after the noise or before the noise? Congratulations, I guess. How is the release of the Palestinians going, by the way? I heard the Palestinians done released the hostages. Let's see. The dove, golden dove, right? Just fitting for the White House, right? Perfect. It will go with the all other gold decor over there. Anyway, let me put up on it right there. It's easy. Signing out. Love you. Bye.